Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Really Big Podcast. I'm your host for this season, or this episode, Sam Congrave, and also on the show, as usual, we have...
Seb Brown, and something's different, I don't know what it is, can't put my finger on it.
And...
I'm Ollie Johnson.
Is that all?
Well,
what else
that's
is
who
it?
that's who I am.
Thank you.
Unless you want my, some sort of alter ego.
No, thank you. I think we have way too many of your alter egos to deal with.
It's not the kryptonite factor anymore, son.
No, if we're left with it, we'll end up with too many
Hello,
guest hosts.
my name's Marty McGregor.
I hope you all had a good New Year.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Well,
Yes.
you were there.
Well, yeah, of course I was.
And I think I called you just beforehand saying, Happy New Year. And
Okay.
I think I interrupted your watching of the Hootenanny. I don't know why they call it Hootenanny. What is a Hootenanny anyway? Who knows?
We weren't
A nana with a
watching the
hooter.
Hootenanny. Well, we didn't watch the ball drop because, face it, we dropped the ball enough. So,
Let's start off with the odd news, and I'm going to start off this episode with some odd news I've heard, and you will each get a turn to discuss your opinion. First bit of odd news: Usain Bolt, the Jamaican runner, has claimed that his inspiration that made him run faster was his girlfriend's bottom. He even went he even went so far as to when he finished running, he sent a text to his girlfriend or wife, I don't know which.
Probably both.
That basically
He's
said,
famous.
well, yeah, that basically said, when I was running, all I was thinking about was your bottom. So yeah, he claims that his inspiration for running faster was his wife's bottom. He claims that's what makes him go faster. So your thoughts, Ollie?
well, 10 out of 10 for honesty, Mr. Bolt. And I love your last name, considering that you're like the world's fastest man.
I thought it was an object rather than a person.
Yeah.
Right, so Seb, your opinion on this man and how he reaches from the bottom to go straight to the top.
But is that considered charming? Because I'm thinking of using that very same line, like texting a few girls saying, your bottom has inspired me to write a novel, or your bottom has inspired me to watch this show.
Well, I think it very...
Thank you to your ass.
I think it very much depends on the woman, Seb.
Who is charmed by that? No one.
There'll be someone. I mean, it's the human race. There's got to be someone who finds that charming somehow.
You know, Ollie,
Yeah.
your bottom has inspired me to be sick.
Yes, it has.
It's
that
inspired
effect.
the world, and it will inspire everyone who goes on this podcast, listens to this podcast. So, okay, since your opinions, and thank you very much for those, I'd also want to point out that last time we did a normal show, we mentioned Rasputin, and the depressing thing is not one of us thought of the Disney one.
I
All
know.
the
I
Boney
mean, the
M's,
guy
so-
had a really long beard, an evil magic artifact, and a talking bat, and none of us thought to mention him.
What, did he hit people with it, or did he play
No,
games?
a talking,
The next bit of news I have,
Ooh.
well, I've been struggling with which ones to use, but one of the ones I wanted to use was, I was reading The Sun recently, and the Jimmy Savile case came
Oh
up.
my God, you're such an everyman when you want to.
No,
be
but this
sad.
is
You
fun.
really
No, but this isn't so much about the news article itself. It's the way that it was presented that made me laugh. Because
Can I just ask first, which newspaper was it in?
The Sun.
Oh, I
The
see.
Sun, we said. The Sun.
Yeah. So basically, what they did was they found a letter that PM had sent to Jimmy Savile to thank him for finding entertainers for one of her, I think it was either a niece or something's party. And the way that they're not making it about what he did, they assume there's actually no proof on there saying. It's saying something like she sent this letter unknowing that he was secretly abusing the kids.
Wait a minute, you said that it was she, it was Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher claiming that it underlines the whole fact.
So
and
what
What
they
were the
say-
first few things it said? 'Cause
it
that normally sets the tone.
pedo Jimmy Savile, and only for the word pedo, funnily enough. And then they also put this sick paedophile above. I think it was actually sick scum or something. I can't remember. But
I may
they
have
said,
read that.
Yeah, but
it's
they-
always an offer at work.
yeah, but it's always But it's just the way they were making it, as if to sensationalise the fact that of what he did. It's like,
So they were
aren't we
implying
past
that
this?
she
Is no
knew.
one getting bored of this yet?
No.
Like,
I know. But if that wasn't enough for you, a bit of news which
Hold on a moment. So they were implying that she knew he was a paedophile.
No,
and she was
they're not
friends with him.
implying it. They're just saying that
just
because
said
they happen
she
to find
sent him a letter unknowing, from what I understand.
Exactly,
that-
unknowing.
Unknowing
That's
what
why
he
she
did.
was so nice to him.
Yeah.
She didn't know. And, then making it less about the letter, more about the fact that, oh, well, now he's a paedophile, now they've got to make out that, oh, well, now they've discovered this letter, he must, be, shamed even more.
Can you say no exciting news to report?
Oh, I would. You know what I thought the biggest piece of news would be?
Go
This
on.
one. Right, we all know about the Connecticut shooting and the tragedy that it is.
Yeah.
But
Well,
now,
God rest their souls.
well, people
Is
are
this
going.
that thing I told you about?
Basically, people are sensationalising it a bit more because now they decided not only do they. This isn't about the whole thing. They're taking away the right to trying to take away the right to guns. They are now saying to children, they're trying to influence them to give away their toy guns and ban toy guns altogether.
What?
If I were that kid, I would not want to do that on the off chance that I might just get something in
Well,
return.
if you think, my thought is you knew for a fact when they did this kind of thing that they were going to sensationalise it beyond any measure.
Yeah, that's what people do.
Because the shooting was insane, but keep in mind the guy was mad to begin with.
Well, what I'd do is I'd sort of have a bit of, something at the end of a stick. What I'd do, I would have Give Us Your Guns and We'll Give You Candy by Robbie Williams.
Ah.
You get it? The song? Get it?
Yeah.
She thinks she's made of candy.
Although
I like that song.
I will just say, if it wasn't toy guns, they'd find other ways to amuse themselves. I'd say stick to what you know.
What
Yeah.
about
I mean-
toy swords, toy torturing devices?
Or toy clubs with nails in.
Yeah.
A toy stretching rack.
Right.
That's the kid's toy I
Now-
want to see. A toy medieval torture rack.
Yeah. Kids would use that to make themselves taller if they're short.
Well, okay, here's another bit of news for you that might amuse the hell out of you. Since the Gangnam Style has now become so ridiculously popular, Tesco is now getting in Korean foods to try, all because of Gangnam Style. In the paper, there's a man eating Korean food, looking like he's about to vomit. Meanwhile, there's a picture of the guy from Gangnam Style,
Took a trial.
basically dressed up in an orange suit this time, dancing while the guy's eating it.
It's getting to the point where it's beginning to take its toll.
Yeah, I mean, score one for
Pointless.
multicultural diversity, but, I think Gangnam Style is dying a bit now. Well, not dying, but it's getting,
What more can you do?
yeah,
Well, yeah.
It's
It's
getting
been
a
done-
bit shark jumpy.
Yeah, it's been done to death now. And
I knew it would.
Look, the fact that I've seen a shirt in town today that said "Keep calm and Gangnam," and there's a picture of the Gangnam Style guy.
I was talking with my grandma, and she said, Seb, have you heard about this gangland dancing thing? I think they're promoting gang violence. And
Gangnam. So she thought Gangnam Style was gang violence. Did you?
Story.
Gangland Style.
And I said, no, what?
I can't help but imagine Psy in like a 1930s Godfather-style suit with a Tommy gun.
Do you think he's going to be doing it inside one of those old 30s cars with people like jacking Tommy guns and shotguns and all that to his music?
We gotta get this booze across the border. Oh, and anyway, she said, there's this gangland dancing. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, it's got this Chinese guy doing it.
I just love how people can't tell the difference between
I love old
Japanese
people, don't you?
And my grandpa calls it the horse dance because the only bit he knows is the bit where he's in the stables, and he thinks the whole thing's to do with horses.
This has been very interesting. This has been very amusing and somewhat terrifying. But
Oh, yeah. By the way, we were talking about people who used to be sensational. Does anyone know what happened to Jamiroquai?
I don't know who that is.
He was a guy from the late 90s, early 2000s, did a few songs.
The
He
name
disappeared.
rings a bell, but I couldn't put a face
Yeah,
to
Will
it.
someone listening post on comments saying, is he dead? What happened to him?
Okay.
He better not have done
Well-
I thought Jamiroquai was a pop group.
He was a man.
Oh well. Anyway, basically, I've noticed you noticed that. Well, there's a sensational. They've now got anti-bullying groups all over the place.
Oh, here
What
we
can
go.
we do?
Oh, shut it. Well, no, it's not just that. It's the way they're sensationalising it, because I've noticed that it's a matter of, this kid did something to, tried to kill himself. They've been bullied. What happened? Well, this particular person didn't like their version of music, and, it upset them. Then that's not bullying. That's having another opinion. That's not really bullying anyone. And it's getting more ridiculous, because I'll tell you a story. This happened last year, but the thing is, it's still being talked about now in America on the news.
Oh, what's this?
Basically, there's this girl. Basically, she flashed her breasts on Facebook, And she,
Oh, why wasn't I around
and,
then?
and then they even made. And
never on the
so
internet.
naturally, you know as much as anyone else. You're not an idiot. If you do that,
It's gonna come back.
It's going to come back to haunt you. She didn't think of the consequences.
I
and
don't see how.
She was.
Seems perfectly harmless
But anyway,
to me.
she was 14. That's maybe a problem.
Okay, that's. Thank you for the context.
Okay, but then she got bullied so much at school, obviously for it, and she brought it upon herself. She made a Facebook page for her boobs. So obviously she wasn't doing herself favours. She was kind of milking it, no pun intended.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's terrible. She's 14, Sam.
She's not. She's dead.
Well, you skipped a bit of a story.
Although, a true story, I once spilled a bit of bleach on my shirt. You've probably seen the shirt. And there's now like a brown R shape.
It actually is shaped. I say.
It looks like either a shepherd's crook or a very crooked R.
Mr. Rotunda.
And it looks like it could be an actual mark on the shirt.
I know, it's amazing what you can do with your own
You've
stuff.
made your own brand of T-shirt, Ollie. R-shirts.
Pirate shirts.
Arr.
You pirated it because you didn't have any official, any official, so it's a pirate shirt.
Rated R.
It'd be funny if people were going up to you saying, "Hey, could I have that shirt? It looks pretty cool."
Where did you get that shirt?
Yeah,
With
where
that
did you get
logo.
that shirt?
I didn't get it with the logo. I put it on later. Oh, you must be an artist. Yeah, sure.
Well, okay. To liven up the show a little bit, this last bit of news I'll give you before I let you delve into whatever. Get this, guys. Two men dressed as Oompa Loompas attacked two people in Norfolk.
Oh my god!
I guess with the economy going so bad that basically the Oompa Loompas have decided to go into gang warfare.
Oompa
Loompa, kickety rib, you open your mouth and we'll split your lip. I'm just imagining them now in Clockwork Orange beating up Charlie's granddad.
What do you get when you hold out on us?
A shark exploded in China.
A shark exploded in China.
Don't just repeat the headline.
I'm basically thinking to myself that maybe Al Qaeda has started to get the only creatures on the planet who don't get cancer to kill.
Maybe they mean metaphorically, like a shark just got very angry.
Or became very popular.
Yeah.
Did you know sharks
Random
like
shark.
AC/DC?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
It was a study a while ago. They went down in a submarine with like underwater speakers just to see how sharks reacted to different sounds.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
And they started blasting out AC/DC, and the sharks kept swimming up to the speakers and rubbing their heads against it. I mean, obviously they don't hear sound the way you and me do, and I had this mental image of a shark just swimming back and forth outside the window doing air guitar and swinging its head around.
Sharks in the mosh pit.
I'm starting
you
to
can have it like an underwater tank, and you can have
Do you think-
divers like
do you
moshing
think-
with the
hey,
sharks.
do you think they nut the dolphins?
I think there's a DreamWorks movie in that.
Yeah, but
Sharks
no.
and
But here's a question: do you think what do you think they like? TNT? Do you think they like TNT or do you think they like big balls?
They've got to try different music with sharks, like if you want to be my lover, the shark attacks them.
No, don't, because you know what they're going to do. If this thing ever got out again, they'd take Lady Gaga down there, and the sharks have grown legs, come up, and then.
The scientists think it was the bass-heavy nature of the music, so anything with a lot of bass in it. Like,
To be fair, I like a bit of bass.
Like basically my Uncle John's band, which is just him with his bass.
Wait a minute, I do like a bit of bass. Does that mean that I'm part shark?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Do you,
Well,
what if
I feel like I'm more cartilage than bones.
Will you die if you
know what
stop
I mean.
moving?
So, yeah.
Sharks like AC/DC. That's awesome.
Well,
Rocket
okay, but I think
sharks.
we're missing the point that they exploded in Korea. In Korea, they
Isn't
exploded.
that sad?
It is sad, because sharks, of all things.
What, was it a bomb or was it the way they are?
I actually have no idea. I just heard that they exploded.
It was a headline
that's
you
great
spied,
news,
I
isn't
think.
it?
It's a headline I spied on a toilet wall somewhere.
Yeah, was it written in shit?
No, it was actually written in blood.
Oh,
I think someone was trying to warn me.
sharks explode in Japan.
That explains so much. The Japanese are planning their attack already.
Any final news?
Well,
We'll probably have to cut some of this
I'd like
short.
to take a minute to,
Can we
say goodbye, say our final goodbyes to angry Grandad who was shot in the face.
Racist.
Grandad.
Racist
No.
Grandad.
Wait a minute, this
Angry
hasn't gone
Grandpa's
out.
a YouTube.
Oh, sorry. Let me do that again.
We hardly knew ye.
We hardly knew you. And
Actually, we knew ye too well.
no, we
And then you were
hardly.
shot by Professor Lyric.
We hardly knew you, and we're really glad of that moment. I still haven't got the blood out of my shoes.
You're not my actual
Wait a second.
granddad, and right now I'm really glad about that.
Wait a second. Oh, Ollie, do you remember that time when you got that package in the mail?
Which specific one?
You know, when we got that package, open it up, and inside was condoms and loads of other things.
Oh, yeah.
There was a ring. I think it's obvious what you put it on, really,
Yeah.
and it vibrated.
My dad, the last time I had a girlfriend, the moment he
When
found
was that? Was that the Jurassic period or the Cretaceous?
It was about 2, maybe
It was the
3
Renaissance.
years ago now.
It's the fucking Renaissance.
The relationship lasted almost a year, and it ended about 2 years ago. So it would have been about 3 years ago now.
Wow.
Right.
So yeah, the moment my dad found out I had a girlfriend,
Oh my god!
he just sent me this package full of condoms, lube, a cock ring, and I think there may have been other things as well. I don't remember. But,
Oh, by the way, I think that you actually got the wrong package, Ollie. I think that package was to your brother, and I think he said, "For the love of God, please use these this time. We don't want a repeat of what happened last year." And I think that there was a package that he got, which was meant for you, with a Rubik's Cube in saying, "Here, this will keep you busy until you're in your 50s."
that would hold up, but my brother lives with my dad. So.
Did I tell you about that time when I ate packets of lube?
No, you didn't. Please
No,
elaborate.
please, go on.
It was in chemistry.
What were they showing the chemical properties of lube?
No.
And showing where it is on the periodic table.
Believe it or not, no. I'll explain the context. That we were doing this class where we were...
Sexual chemistry.
No. That would have been a very helpful class. They should teach that. It would be, like you have one of those smooth guys in, like... Now, what happened is we were having this special class about how things stretch. So, do you know what we got?
Wow.
The teacher said, next week I'm going to bring in 20 or so condoms and we're going to use those.
Actually took one of those that my dad sent me, put it on the tap, and saw how much it would take before
You
it
just
burst.
had to test it out, didn't you?
Yeah, I just had to. But I
We've
had
all
to
done it.
abandon the experiment because it was getting too big for the sink.
I can imagine it just exploding in your face and your mom coming in to see with this condom on your face dripping wet.
When I was a kid, I wish I'd known about condoms for water balloon fights, but then in hindsight, if I did, I might have killed someone. Yeah.
I think you might have abused your powers.
Wasn't sex education weird for just us three?
Anyway, this wasn't sex education, actually. It was just simple chemistry.
Did you know what it was at the time?
No, wait a second. We got these packets of what we assumed were condoms. The teacher went and bought, like loads of condoms. We went with her as well.
I bet one of you kept them in the pocket and took it with them.
She gave us all the condoms that she bought. And we, all one by one, we started opening them. We found out there was something very odd because there were no condoms inside, but just some drippy goo. And it turned out she accidentally brought lubricants instead of condoms, and she didn't know.
Icky goo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to make a Star Wars reference.
But anyway, we decided there's nothing we can do with all this lube, so I came up with the idea, and everyone else followed. We just ate all the packets.
Oh.
It tasted like cowpole. It was wonderful. I regret nothing, and I'd happily do it again if there were some lubricants on sale nearby.
I mean, if the opportunity arose.
If the opportunity arose, yeah.
You two.
Yeah.
The other week, I found a notebook at work. But you'd think that I'd do the right thing and return it, wouldn't you? But
Yeah.
It was a diary for 2012, so I thought, forget it. That was last year's history, It's in the past. I'll just keep it. I'll be a nosy bastard. Read through it, see all the little notes they've wrote, and see if I can figure out using detective work whose diary it is. There was all sorts of stuff. Call me X Nicole, but it had no number, so I could not do that, and I assume the person knew whose number it was. There was loads of stuff about, holidays, and it said that the person had a grandpa, so it must have been a young person. It mentioned school, so this was probably a fairly young person's diary. But yeah, I thought that was...
You monster.
I didn't return it, because what are you going to say? I found this the other day, I read through it, and I saw, this is yours. But by the way, I hope that you get back together with Nicole. It wasn't right what she did to you. I know that your first experience wasn't satisfactory, but you can make up for it later.
That's terrible.
But I just couldn't return. I couldn't explain myself.
Okay.
But anyway, do you know what Air Force One is?
I've heard of it, but don't know what it is.
Isn't it a plane?
Well, sort of.
Oh wait, isn't Air Force One the president's plane?
Yeah, but it is literally the plane the president's on.
I know what it is.
At any given time.
At any given time, any plane that the president is on is Air Force One, no matter
So
if it's a hot air balloon.
Air Force
it's Air
One
Force
is
One.
not a specific vehicle like the Millennium Falcon.
Usually it is, but not all the time.
There are exceptions.
He has a default plane, but if that's not available, whatever plane he's on at the time becomes Air Force One.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to do a little section which I've created called...
You didn't create that.
Prove it.
No, really. Listen to last week's episode.
Okay, I'm lying here.
All right.
Okay, things of interest.
I have to explain these, so you guys are going to have to pick one each.
Okay, I'll choose...
These are things I personally find interesting.
Lying French Batman.
The Lying French Batman. Right. Do you want me to explain the Lying
Explain
French?
the Lying French Batman.
Right, he wasn't actually a Batman. He was this Frenchman in the last century, about 19th century, I can't know, 1850-something.
Yeah.
He created this plane, which he called the Eole, which is French for bat. But it was the very first sort of thing. It had a very heavy engine, though, and it couldn't fly properly, although it flew for a very, very short distance. It was before the Wright brothers, but they couldn't control it, so it didn't count.
Yeah.
Anyway, because this French guy began to be ignored over time because they saw him as some sort of crazy guy who built planes and kept them in his garage, he began to exaggerate his claims and say he flew a very long way. Like, if at first it started off, I flew a few thousand feet, then I flew to New York with this, and, you know... he pretty much just became a lying weirdo around the same time that the Wright brothers became famous. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, well, the Wright brothers, they got theirs off the ground. Did that ages ago. I went to New York yesterday.
It was like that.
Yeah. It just sounds like something that some guy would say in a bar at that point. Like someone saying, like, "Look at those Wright brothers, they just invented flight. Big deal, I flew to the moon."
I invented interstellar travel.
To be fair, he did actually build a plane, but it didn't really fly. Where are you going to pick?
I think,
What makes you interested?
I would have thought the last one would.
the alien invasion that never happened.
Right, the alien invasion that never happened. I will explain this to you.
Please do.
In the 30s, there was this guy called H.G. Wells who wrote a lot of stories. He wrote War of the Worlds, and he did a radio drama of it. But American people believed it was real.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing that when it first came on, people actually believed...
Great big Orson Welles hoax thing.
Yeah, they basically... Yeah. I remember this. They actually, when it came on the radios, everyone actually believed that aliens were actually attacking.
Yeah, because it was such a convincing broadcast.
But it's because they presented it like an actual broadcast.
Exactly, that's the thing.
And it was just ridiculous. Right. Okay. Well, I'd like to introduce tonight the final little bit of this humble little podcast. I'd like to introduce again coming to us live in the studio, your favourite and mine, Professor Lyric.
Hello, I am Professor Eric R. Lyric, back from a long sabbatical. Today, I would like to examine a tragic tale about how genetic deformities can hinder your chances in life, known as Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. The chorus refers to her hips not lying, as is stated in the title. Of course, your hips could only be truthful if they had a mouth, with a tongue, lips, teeth, and a vocal cord each. This disability has of course changed others' opinions of her, with somebody stating that they never knew that she could dance like this, and it causes distraction and tension. This is only the beginning of her tragic tale. She refers to being a refugee, perhaps from a country where people who have mouths on their hips are not welcome in society. Not only this, but she refers to being half human and half animal, meaning that as well as having 3 mouths, she may also be a centaur or a fawn. She even refers to somebody carrying crates for Humpty Dumpty, meaning that there may be somebody who is half egg and half man travelling with her. However, not all is bad in the lives of these freaks of nature, as they also have their own boats, suggesting some form of wealth, perhaps raised at freak shows. She also mentions that she's beginning to feel right, meaning that she now accepts her deformities are part of who she is, and that she has come to terms with this. She also knows how to speak Spanish, which is a very useful talent wherever you are in the world. I'm Professor Lyric.
Thank you, Professor R. Lyric.
The show has really gained a step back with him back with us.
Oh, come on, he's not that bad.
No, I mean, it lost a step when he left.
And now, yeah, but you said he took a step back.
No, I said gained a step
Okay,
back.
It's like the cha-cha slide.
Well,
As in gained back the step that we lost.
So, was it putting one to the left and then a step to the right?
Yeah. One
Okay,
not this time.
Well,
okay,
a jump
well-
to the left
well-
and then a step to the right.
Well, anyway, thank you very much. This has been... I've been your host, Sam Congrave.
You've learnt quick, kid.
I've still been Ollie, apparently.
And I've still been me, although I don't know how much longer that will last.
And we really wish he'd be someone else.
Thank you for that vote of confidence.
Thank you. This was really big shoes. This was a really big podcast, and have a really big new year.
Well, you can't have a small one, can you?
Well, obviously not.
Oh, no.